Now it's the stream.
I'm about to. Yeah.
I can promote
We're
it.
live now.
Oh my god, I got a notification. Amusement Insiders is live. Trash.
Hashtag waiting all day for it. Not.
Hashtag it sucks.
I'm going to be presenting using a picture of Code Plus.
Ooh. We'll just give everyone some time to come in here. That's why we started a bit
No,
early.
we won't.
Pathways.
If I did the Behemoth lift audio, would I be content ID claimed?
Yes.
That's not how you say it. It's Yas.
Yas.
Yas. Actually, I'm going to leave this open for the YouTube comment box.
I checked the comments on my phone.
There's a new character for your talk show, and his name is Jeff.
Here. Everyone's here.
No, we're not.
Hey. We're still going to give people more time to join because we just posted. Why is it only showing one watching for me?
It shows 8 watching for me.
Oh, for me, it's like 1. I'm like, I've gone places in life.
I dropped everything for this. Better be good. LOL.
Hello.
It will be.
It's like in between, okay?
Mood.
I should really get an icon.
I have an icon.
Though,
You're lucky.
It's funny. I'm watching while doing my homework.
12 watching.
God.
10 are watching for me. Okay, we're just gonna give people a little bit longer. We just post. Okay, finally, it's updating me. While you're all sitting here, you should give the video a like.
Of course.
Me?
Hashtag hard work pay off.
Hashtag sitting on my ass. Oops.
Language. Luckily, we're in Canada, and that's not a swear word.
Sorry, I'm sitting on my buttocks.
That's what I'm sitting on.
That word just makes me giggle sometimes.
Giggle,
All right.
Giggle.
12 watching. I'm actually so confused right now.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
I should do a face reveal. Comment if you want to see my face.
3, 2, 1.
Who wants to see my face? Say 1. Or type 1 if you want to see my face.
So, how are y'all doing?
Throw a
How y'all
word that says
doing?
yes.
How are y'all viewers doing? 16 watching.
Sorry, everyone. That was my fault. I had an emergency email I needed to respond to. Back to screen sharing.
So, hey guys, this is the Amusement Insiders Place thing that talks to people and people listen for some reason.
So anyway,
that was honestly the best intro ever.
Go to sleep. It's 8:30 p.m. Who's got to sleep at 8:30 p.m.?
Why?
No
Who has
judgment.
to sleep at 8:30? I'm so judging.
So anyway, short piece of track installed in tunnel. Yeah, that's basically the premise of it. If you don't want to stay and watch. But that's at the end-ish. Okay, so we'll go right into it. You already seen this picture. This is the construction site. As of today, this is still the construction site. It hasn't grown, hasn't changed, nothing added. Literally all the attention is focused on the tunnel, so we're not seeing any new footers poured. Basically just
Fun fact,
the tunnel
Skyrider is
is
actually still there.
Yeah, it is. This is a super up-to-date image. We have an early summer in Canada. The trees are full bloomed and
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Okay. This is what I was supposed to give to you last time. So this is the footer map. It's obviously not to the T because obviously we don't have an image like this over the park. But this is basically where I've seen them dig with the digger, and there's holes that I can see from afar when I go in and edit them on Photoshop. So you got to stay in here details. What did I miss? So looking at this, what you get is nothing. There's literally nothing to decipher from this footer map.
So you go up a lift, then you drop down into a vertical loop, then you do a dive loop and go into the tunnel. Then you do a thing, and then another thing, and then another thing, and a mid-course brake run, then another thing, and another thing, and another thing, and another thing, and brakes.
Yeah, we can talk about that, CSRT, or Brian, sorry. What were you going to say, Easton, sorry?
I was going to say I just counted the footers, and right now there are a little over 50. And, you know, from what I know, from what I think, I don't think we're done with footers yet. So
no,
if this is the amount, I remember we were talking about a dive, not saying that's what it is. But if we get under 80, do you think there could be the possibility of it still being a dive or wing?
I would say if we cross, so Val Raven had Tyler's in here. Tyler, how many footers did Val Raven have on it when you counted? You said 65, right?
Oh, that's it.
It was 65 or 70, one of the two. Very little.
I thought it was like, I thought he said like 80 something.
Waiting for Thrill Warrior's response. Thrill Warrior, how many footers were on Val Raven? If you don't mind sharing, please type in the chat box below. It was 65 to 75. Great job.
Wow.
So again, they're not done. The machines are all still there. There's pylons in the forest. There's orange tape in the forest.
They can still be drilling the footers throughout the season too. So
obviously, this isn't the amount of footers that are going to be in this area. We know there's going to be more. So it's already heading towards more footers than Val Raven. Like we're getting close to that place where we could maybe go, this isn't going to be a dive coaster anymore. It looks more like a wing coaster. We're getting closer to that point.
Right.
What's that lonely footer?
Full V&M sit down at this point.
So this lonely footer, so the tunnel actually stretches all the way up here. You're going to see in a new photo from today, the tunnel is now on land as well, which I was not expecting. And they poured it really fast, the little foundation for it when you see it. In a day, we have a layout for the tunnel on land now. So why don't I actually get there? So this is actually from yesterday. So this photo from yesterday is to show that, see how there's no signs of the tunnel being over here? You can see a little bit. So that's actually cement. That's not dirt. They poured cement. It's got a weird shape. So the tunnel goes up. It's shaped like a trapezoid, the tunnel, and then it goes up into ledges up on land. And then that's cement. There's the top of the tunnel is stored here. It looks like just structural parts that they'll put on top to form a cement top. It also looks like it'll be trapezoid shape, I guess for room and clearance purposes. So I know it won't be a flat top tunnel. It's not going to be completely flat across.
Oh, there's going to be like some sort of arch or something.
Yeah, look, I think the whole shape is almost going to be like a octagon, if that makes sense. I think I'm saying the wrong shape. It's going to be something like that. It's two like trapezoids on top of each other.
If the tunnel is extended a little bit farther and you had a bridge going over across to get some good shots, I think that's a possibility as well.
Yeah, it could be anything at this point, right? They're putting a lot of money into this coaster.
We're not going to see another ride for like a few years.
Depending on their vision for the park, right?
Yeah, well, we're going to get like smaller additions.
Based off of previous years, if we're going off previous years alone, we won't see a coaster for another 5 to 7 years after this.
Cedar Point.
Oops, did I skip one? No, I didn't. Okay. So this is a close-up. So as of today, the outside of the tunnel on land was poured, ready for whatever they do. So
is
actually,
this from today?
Yeah, this is from today.
Okay.
I can't see the track. This is later on in the day. I'm too far away to see the track in the tunnel. We won't be able to see the track once it's placed in the tunnel from my drone. There's no way I'll be able to get an angle or anything from where I fly, even using Photoshop to get this clear of a photo. We won't be able to see any track once it's in the tunnel.
Yeah.
But you can see it. This is the main tunnel part here. And that's a trapezoid. So it's got a 2 arches here, and then it's got this land part. It looks smaller from this angle. Oh, that's the track. So here the crane is lifting. Too. Yeah, it's very tiny.
It's like about maybe my entire wingspan.
It's not as big as like we originally thought, right? It looked wider in some pictures than it really did.
Mm-hmm. No, like the length of the piece is like I could probably reach from side to side to it.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm wondering if they're small for a reason, or if that's the main connecting piece to connect the 5 pieces. Mm-hmm. It could be because of the tunnel that it's smaller, but this isn't one of the 5 pieces on site. Again, I can't confirm. I can't sit here and say 100% that that's a piece of track. I can't, but it looks like a piece of track. And the crane was holding and lifting and moving left to right, lifting something into the tunnel. So literally the only thing that they would be lifting into a tunnel that has its walls and foundation done that looks like track is probably track. But again, I can't confirm that, so don't hold me to it. But yeah. That's my reaction. Because I literally was there. So I filmed the footage, and I was on Discord. So for anyone not in Discord, I'm active on Discord a lot. Even when I'm at the park flying, I'm usually on Discord now. Mm-hmm. I didn't notice until I got home what was going on, which was super frustrating because I could have got more footage.
Oh my god, I can't take this seriously anymore.
Literally my mood right now.
I need to like minimize the screen because I'm so dying inside. Why do you do this, Brendan?
This is literally me. This sums up my reaction today, especially when I got home and I was like, are you serious? I had more battery life in my drone. I also was careful. I was like really far back because there was a mechanic on Behemoth, and I'm off property anyways, but I wanted to make sure the mechanic felt safe. So I was flying away from the lift hill of Behemoth. And they were also doing like police evacuation drills in the parking lot today. So I just wanted to stay away and keep distance. That's why there's not too much footage from today.
Okay.
Zoop. So I want you guys to get a good look at this image. This image comes from someone. I need to get his Instagram because he'll be really pissed if I don't plug him.
I'm just gonna say the angle of like the arc on the track is very shallow.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more shallow than I expected it to be.
So this is from Ice. So ICE King, one word, KING 452 on Instagram. Let's go follow him. Because he'll literally kill me if I don't say that or plug him.
And these are the pieces that are on site now.
These are the pieces on site now. These were never shipped recently, which people previously thought. These are the pieces of track that are on site now. You can tell this is the dead center piece. If you look, there's like that's plugged into the ground. Like
the other one looks like either the drop in or the pull out.
Yeah.
But they're all going to be laying on the ground with the little peg sticking out. So
for sure. And you can actually see this is the thicker end. So this probably is the part that'll face the drop side. So and if you notice, this side is actually slightly thinner than this side, even though we can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you can see dive.
It might actually connect to the piece behind it too.
That's what I'm saying. So that's exactly where I'm heading. Dive coasters don't go from thick to thin that quickly in a drop too. The first drop.
Yeah. Dive coaster trains are way too heavy for that.
Yes. And when you see this track, it's actually not as thick and wide as we previously have thought it was. It is actually a lot smaller than the pictures had made it look on my original drone footage.
Mm-hmm.
It is super tall, but all B&M track, like when you're riding a Giga, like the track's wide, like, and it's big. Like most B&M track is big in person, regardless of the coaster design.
Right.
So I wanted you guys to look at this picture again. I know it's old, but if you look, we have two very different styles of track. It's the same coaster. I'm not saying we're getting two coasters, but what I'm saying is pay attention to how small this track is. This is the main track. This is just the bottom of the tunnel or drop. And this is like where it starts to turn into what it normally is. Or this is just a high stress. I don't know if this is the bottom of the track, right? We don't know the layout. This is probably just a high stress area on the ride. Yeah. To me, I am starting to think this is a wing coaster. And I'll show you why. So in our topics of discussion, and you guys participate in this discussion, please. I want us all to kind of like digest this together because that's the best part. And we were kind of talking as a group. We were like, what if we found the blueprints to this coaster? We found out what it was going to be. Most of us actually don't want to know what the coaster is going to be. It's more fun to go all the way to August, let the park do its teasing campaign, than it is to like be now and figuring it out now. What is it going to be? Like, it's more fun this way.
It's still pretty fun speculating on it and like changing our opinions constantly.
For sure. Like, I mean, like, how wrong have I been? I've been like dive, wing, sitting, dive. It sounds like a song.
I really want it to be a sitting coaster.
Me too. I would love anything Kumba style.
The classic roller looping coaster experience is what I want. And I've never been on one, and I really want to go on one.
Yeah, and Brian, you were a team
or whatever.
Oh,
I feel like
anything.
Yeah.
Easton?
I feel like at the beginning everyone was like dive. But like the deeper we get into this and the more we find out and the more we know, everyone's like, now there are kind of subcategories. Like, is it gonna be a dive wing or sit down or something completely new? You know, I've heard topics such as 4D or other, potentially new concepts. So, the more that we get into this, it's like, what is it going to be? And, it's just, but I think that's also the fun part with it. Cause we're like, oh, I think it's going to be this. No, it's going to be something else. And then something new comes up and then, it's just fun.
For sure. And I'll go back to some of the older pictures, but I wanted to bring this up and discuss this. So the biggest thing is timing of project compared to that of other coaster projects. So Valraven, Gatekeeper, Leviathan. I took those three. I took when they started, and not one of those big projects. Valraven was a pretty big project despite its size, but Gatekeeper and Leviathan are long coasters as well. And Gatekeeper was a front gate project where they renovated front gate for it. So if you're using the tunnel as an argument, I wanted to use Gatekeeper as a prime example.
Yeah,
because it's perfect. To renovate the whole front gate for a coaster is much harder than to build a small tunnel.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wanted to use that as a timing because a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's because the tunnel." No,
that does
not.
mean we're going to probably see a station throughout the season, and there's going to be theming work going on as well.
Yeah. So like we originally predicted, construction would stop in the year. I don't think so anymore. I think Vortex area will stop for sure. Yes, 100%. But Skyward is Pot of Land and maybe a little bit of Whitewater Canyon, if it does head that way. We know there are footers in Timberwolf now. I can guarantee there are footers in Timberwolf. We know it's heading somewhere in that direction. I have a feeling this coaster is going to be a out and back wing coaster. If I had to guess, it's going to head out into the woods a little bit and come back. And it's going to use that Skyward Pot of Land and Vortex pond very well. And that's just a guess again. We actually have no idea. We're not even saying that to not. We have no idea what this coaster is. We don't know what it's going to do. We don't even have any inkling. I don't even know the word I'm looking for there.
Do you guys think the lake's actually going to be staying?
Yes. Yeah. I think it has to because it's an emergency flood relief for the entire York region.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep it.
So I wanted to say that because I hate, and I was actually one of them. So I don't hate, but that argument doesn't have any merit anymore because of the tunnel. They started this early. So then we look at other things. Valraven, 6 months before opening, it started. So one would reasonably assume it's not a Valraven style coaster. So let's take that out of the equation. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm just trying to problem solve together. So let's take Valraven out of the picture right now.
With Valraven, though, they started they did clearing and stuff. They took out one of the rides and moved a few things around and just left it there for the entire season. And then as soon as the park closed, they started work.
Yeah, it started right when the park closed. The actual construction part of the coaster.
2 months before they started pouring footers.
Yeah, the actual part of the construction, where they were building and digging footers, started in late September, early October.
Right.
And then it didn't go vertical till December or something.
Yeah, and Gatekeeper was similar too. Gatekeeper had a pretty late start for a coaster as well. It started a little earlier than September because they were demolishing the area and all that. And they were starting footers. Yeah.
Leviathan, I had no idea about. I just heard it was coming, and I forgot about it completely until I went.
Yeah. So Leviathan started like now, like for next year. So and that was changing the parking lot and going over a coaster as well, and it being the first Giga. So again, first of its kind, earlier start project. So do you see what I'm trying to do here? Get your mind going. Like, there's some things to possibly think about with this coaster project, and we have waited 5 to 7 years, if you exclude Wonder Mountain's Guardian counting as a coaster, 5 to 7 years for a big coaster.
Yeah. Wonder Mountain's Guardian should have been a real roller coaster, not a dark ride, but whatever.
Yeah. So we do have a large lump of money that could be used for this project if they were to be like, okay, this park needs a coaster. It hasn't had a coaster. So we'll move on. English, do you have any of you have anything to say about that?
I was just gonna say, I think we all can agree that, you know, as you brung up, it's not, part of it isn't the tunnel, part of it might be because of the tunnel. I'm not saying that's like 100%, but we can't say that this coaster is starting 2 years in advance because of the tunnel. Like, clearly I think we all can agree that this is something more than just the tunnel, like whether it be theming or they just decided to start so early. However, if you're going to start 2 years in advance for a project of this magnitude, something big is gonna happen and come out of it. So I do think that this is something more than just a tunnel or something, of that matter.
For sure. And I mean, have we ever seen track arrive this early? That's for the tunnel. But
I don't think for any other coaster that I've followed, track has arrived this early.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, what I think is going to happen is they're going to finish the tunnel and install the track, and that's going to be done with for a while. They're going to continue to pour footers, and there's going to be construction walls in the park while they build station, queue line, transfer track, storage building, stuff like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it also depends how much theming there is.
Yeah, on off days or days that like the water park's closed or whatever, they're just going to close off that path and start moving stuff in.
Yeah. Especially to start the season off. We'll still see construction going up until probably like May.
Yeah.
Late May when the park water park opens.
Or it might not ever stop either.
Yeah, true.
there could be little things going on, like electrical work or whatever.
Yeah.
They can assemble the ride computer or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah. So the next topic is the size of the construction team and vehicles compared to similar projects. So we have a lot larger of a construction team and more vehicles than I've seen, especially compared to that of Valraven.
Yeah.
Valraven had 1 to 2 diggers and a dump truck, and it had about 2 cement trucks when you watch the timeline. So if you watch the timeline, it's a very small construction team for Valraven. This project, on any given day, has about 50 construction workers. It has like 8 to 10 diggers. It has a permanent footer digger, and they sometimes attach whatever they call a drill bit to one of the excavators to help.
They have the dry pilers, they have the digger, they have the drill, they have
like 4 bulldozers.
Right.
I feel like they're also mixing cement for it on site and not shipping it there.
Yeah, the other day there were 6 cement trucks lined up waiting to dump cement into this tunnel.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lineup until 7:30 p.m. That's when my drone landed one night. 7:30 p.m. 6 cement trucks still waiting to dump cement into the tunnel. This was like 3-4 days ago.
Right.
It's a large project. Oops.
Yeah.
It's a large project. Everyone in the chat right now.
That's a large project. That needs to get out of here. Get that out of here. This is all of our
faces on season pass holders.
No, I'm blind now. I don't want to look at this. Oh my god, get it off the screen. Why are you controlling my computer?
Does anyone? So what are people saying in chat? Everyone's been saying this. I've been keeping kind of a close eye. Everyone seems to want a launched wing.
Ziz shall fly higher than Thunderbird. LOL.
Well,
go ahead.
I think so, actually. If it's going to be a launched wing coaster, it will be better than Thunderbird. Because Cedar Fair is probably looking at that.
Cedar Fair always breaks records with whatever they do at their parks.
Definitely.
Or they have like first of a kind rides.
And that's like honestly. Good.
In terms of Canada's Wonderland, sorry about cutting you off, but in terms of Canada's Wonderland, they have like the first hypercoaster with staggered seating and the first hypercoaster in the chain. They have the first B&M Giga Coaster, which was never seen before.
Yeah. It's kind of, and we say that because it's kind of like an example. They broke records with Valraven. Valraven was the tallest, fastest, and longest dive coaster. We had Gatekeeper, which at the time had the world's tallest inversion, and then we had Leviathan, which was obviously the world's first B&M Giga. So clearly, Cedar Fair has a tendency to break records, and I think they definitely will be doing that with this 2019 project.
Yeah. But Ryan launched wing dive. No, but do you guys think it'll be a world's first, or like a first in the chain, or a record breaker?
I think it's gonna be a record breaker for sure.
Agreed. I don't think that B&M would. I mean, don't get me wrong; they could potentially bring something new to the table, but from what I think they're going to stick with what they currently have in their lineup and just have that ride, be the biggest, tallest, fastest, just break any records that it possibly can.
My theory is if it's a launched wing coaster, they're going to have the shorter trains on it, obviously, with either 6 or 7 cars. But I think they're going to try and be able to run 4 trains on it as well.
Yeah, like kind of like a dual station.
They could have a dual loading station. They could have a side-by-side dual loading station. They could have something else.
Launched wing dive. A wing coaster diving wouldn't make any sense because the half of the back of the train wouldn't be over the dive. So
I know, right?
It would be essentially useless.
Lol. Unless the drop dog is on the back car of the train. But that also doesn't really make sense. Then you're halfway down the drop.
Yeah, it's not going to be a launched wing dive. That's too out of the box. But I mean, hey, if you end up being right, rub it in my face, please. I will let you.
But B&M sit down, they're floorless.
Oh my god! To be honest, for some reason, and I shouldn't be thinking this way, I don't want a floorless.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason, I just don't want a floorless. Maybe it's because I've been on so many floorless coasters. I've been on them all, to be honest, I think, in North America. Except for King's Dominion's one. But yeah, I just, for some reason, I don't. And I know that's weird because they're really great rides.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the weird one.
I feel like if it's a sit-down coaster, though, we're going to be seeing more of them elsewhere.
Definitely. If they're gonna bring one of that concept back, because I know everyone talks about Kumba and how that's the best ride ever.
Yeah.
If they bring one of those to Canada's Wonderland, I think we are gonna see the return of B&M sit downs at other amusement parks.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Brian said something really great, and I said we've talked about this as a group on our Discord. This new coaster will be the landmark of this park, right in the middle. Remember this all the newspapers when they removed Skyrider, the park was even saying this is a prime spot right dab in the middle of our park, so the next attraction is going to be amazing. If you look at our past history, referring to Leviathan and Behemoth. So again, another great concept to look at. It's right in the middle of the park. Whatever they build has to look nice.
Yeah, and we knew it was going to be an icon ride.
Yeah,
we knew it was going to be an iconic thrill ride that everyone's going to love, kind of like those two.
For sure.
Yeah.
And he's just going to eat through the crowds as well.
Yeah, and we already talked about number of footers, so we won't go over that again. But and you guys in the comments participate. Ziz versus Canadian theming, or both? What do you guys think? What do you two think while they type?
I'll let you go first.
The nervous laugh.
I mean,
put him on the spot.
I don't know. I honestly, I could see either because, Ziz, everyone's always talked about the big three at Canada's Wonderland. You got Leviathan, Behemoth, and Ziz. But, with the new theming changes that they've been doing recently to that Canadian area, I'm starting to think it's going to be themed to more Canadian style theming, if you know what I mean. Now, I'm not I am not a Canadian expert, so I don't know what they would specifically theme it to. Maybe kind of as a joke, but like maple wood or
they'd sell you maple syrup in the queue.
Yeah, but I do think that they could potentially add. I mean, I could see both, but I feel like the Canadian theming would fit better with the area, and it would make sense. You figure you're gonna have this coaster potentially going in the woods. Canada is known for having timber as like product, like a resource that they sell for profit, at least from what I learned in school. So that kind of be Canadian theming, if you know what I mean. So I mean, I think it could be either. Honestly, see people
I think
in the.
I think it could still be called Ziz and be Canadian themed at the same time.
Okay, some people in chat are saying that too. So what do you think?
It could fly through the woods, kind of be like something related maybe to the timber trade or something, just going back on Canadian history.
But then that goes against Ziz's storyline.
No, but they could reform it as well if they really wanted to.
True.
They can make something completely new and still retain the name. Like, it doesn't have to be a biblical monster. It could be something else.
Right.
Funnel cakes with bacon.
Because at the end of the day, a name is just a name. Whether the ride's generically themed or has a full theme, they can do whatever they want with it. They could have a story. They could not.
Right. I mean,
stop it with that face, though. Oh my god.
The face is honestly everyone's mood when they hear about these like new footers and things, though. That basically.
That's our reaction when they actually announce it.
You're right. they're like, it's an invert me.
Wait, do you think
B&M invert record breaker guy thing? Town pants.
Me control alt deleting our channel because I'm so embarrassed.
Amusement Insiders gets taken over by new ownership. Because me foreshadowing the future.
So honestly,
how long do you guys think it's going to take for Vortex's track to be reinstalled?
Very quick, actually, because remember they removed it in a day. Remember, I was like flying for like a month, and then one day I was like, oh, Vortex.
No,
and we didn't even see them take it down. Like we didn't catch them taking it down. Keep in mind, train we are known for across Canada trains. Coasters have trains too, right? You can't really theme a coaster to a train. Not
train coaster.
Not beautifully.
But mine trains are more like.
And we just got that with Vortex, which we will talk about. Someone asked us to talk about the Vortex trains because we actually didn't release a video on that. Oddly enough, you'd think we would. So back to Ziz or Canadian theming. I don't know. I don't. We don't even have any. I would say I'm with Eastern. If you look at the two coasters, typically you'd think, okay, well, they have to complete the trio. Every park has a top 3 coaster lineup. So
I feel though, if it's Ziz, it's going to be generically themed, just
with a statue outside.
No, just either with a statue or a nice sign. Like I apologize for the banging noise. Like with a statue or the sign, kind of like how Behemoth is. Or something if it's part of Action Zone, but if it's part of the new Canadian themed area that they're trying to build up in Whitewater Canyon, it's probably going to be a little heavier themed.
I would say
so. If they're doing work throughout the year on theming the ride and building the ride queue and stuff this early, then that means that it's going to be Canadian themed.
Whoa, guys. Transitioning us into the Vortex dock. Remember we heard rumors that they were building a second part of the mountain in this area? What did they just theme Vortex's trains to?
Oh my god, no.
Wow.
Oh my god. Someone just literally wrote that. And I'm like, what? Thanks for the water, Mom.
What?
Wow. Did we just clue into something? Are they building a second part of the mountain here? Do you notice how they're laying down a foundation here? Look here. There's like some weird,
where the
very
tunnel
flat
is.
foundation around the Vortex area. Huh. And they don't have to make it big. It could be a tiny little thing that Vortex goes into and out of. Like, it doesn't have to be a big mountain.
They could also have another waterfall off of Wonder Mountain and have it kind of have a river over to this.
Flow into this area, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And that would look nice. Oh my god. Because we had started to hear rumblings that there could potentially be a second part to Wonder Mountain over in this area.
If Vortex flies into this and then goes around Ziz, or well, I'm just gonna call it Ziz for right now. If it goes around Ziz and then comes back out of the mountain, that would be really cool.
Yeah, because I mean, even look at how flat they're making the land and how they laid down concrete.
Right.
Yeah, and is it just me or does it look like Windseeker doesn't have a fence at the moment?
Oh
Might just be
crap!
bad quality.
It could be overexposure, yeah. Because again, we're really far away.
It's
Remember,
all
we
your
thought
fault,
for a while that Wonder Mountain's Guardian was missing track, and then we found out we were wrong.
It's all your fault, Brendan.
Yeah, overexposure sometimes makes things look like they're missing, but they're not.
Man, I really enjoy Wonder Mountain's Guardian, but I can say that if the outdoor section was a bit longer, it would have made the ride so much better.
Yeah. Oh my god, that would explain. So they got ahead of themselves on the mine train theme of Vortex.
I wanna, if I can, Throw Warrior was asking earlier, do you think that if Canada's Wonderland did in fact get a sit down, do you think it would have vest restraints?
No, it's hard to say.
It's hard to say. I could say yes and no.
Yeah, same.
Depending on how they profile the ride and if we can like tell which way the Heartline's going, if it's moving for a wider train, then yeah, it would have vest restraints. If not, it would be same style as Kumba and Hulk and Wildfire and
I
that other ride that was moved to China or Vietnam.
Yeah, I think definitely based on like how the ride's Heartline is and how it like profiles, that will be a factor into like what kind of coaster it'll be, and then the restraints. Like
from Brendan's drone footage, we'll be able to kind of build a Heartline off of it, and if it's a little wide, if the track's moving a little wider around to accommodate a wider train, then it will be able to tell before the trains even show up on site.
Exactly.
But if it's a wing or a dive still, it's gonna have vest restraints anyway. So that also means that they have vest restraints on a sit down. They can make it snappier and more intense without headbanging.
Yeah. Then the vest restraints
was the leak about the Vortex trains. Yes, I agree, Brian. I think I can't believe we didn't even piece this together when it happened. That the Vortex trains were rethemed for a reason, and that we have brown track for a reason. Oh my god! So you can. Oh my god! Now I'm done. I'm going home. I'm going to bed. I'm gonna drink some vodka and go to bed.
And no promoting drinking on the stream, clocks. Man, this was. We just revealed all their secrets, and now Canada's Wonderland's gonna be so pissed at us.
Oh my god! After the stream, they're gonna like email us. They're gonna email Amusement to be like, so, how's that retheme going? And then it's just gonna be. Yeah.
And a second mountain would look gorgeous. Can you imagine walking through this area and it's just like mountains?
Imagine the park like 15 years down the road, they have the Wonder Mountain Range.
Oh my god, I can see that though. Like have the varying mountains, and then in the center you have the big majestic. Yeah. Oh my god, I actually can see that happening.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god, this is literally the stream that you did not want to miss.
Right?
Honestly.
And now Canada's Wonderland's 25-year plan was just screwed by us. So bad.
Okay, great. You just brought up 25-year plan. Can we just take a second to look at what the park is doing over this 1 year period? Let's list it. Catering facility upgrades. All the washrooms have been upgraded. Restaurants are being upgraded. Whitewater Canyon's being upgraded, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see a brand new restaurant in Whitewater Canyon or a gift shop. We can't tell yet. We have a coaster being built 2 years in advance. which is going to be means it's going to be amazing. Then you have Vortex being rethemed, and I'm missing some.
If they made a full sit-down restaurant in the park, like they actually served you food at your table, what do you think, like, the likelihood of that would be?
From what we had heard earlier, this coaster is going to be the introduction to one of those first ones. It was going to be a Canadian-themed restaurant that, like, there'll be live, like, music played. But again, that's just a rumor. But yeah, that's what we were hearing.
If they had hired bands to come and play or something, that would just make it better, like a country club or something.
Right.
And on the meal pass question mark, just saying.
I
yeah.
Feel,
Can you imagine? Sorry, go.
It's fine. I feel like just because of how much that's going on into this 1 year, Cedar Fair really has a couple of parks that they're really trying to pour into. You notice, we obviously have Cedar Point, which is basically the grand park in the Cedar Fair chain, putting stuff. They're also going to the other parks. We notice Canada's Wonderland's getting a ton of upgrades, and soon also will be, in California's Great America. So now I like what Cedar Fair is doing. They're now going to parks that aren't the number one, in the chain's eyes. Not saying everyone doesn't think that Canada's Wonderland or California's America is the best, but in the chain's eyes, they're going down to the other parks that they might not consider number one.
Yeah.
And, bettering those parks, that way those parks can become even better than they already, better than the state that they're currently, which is.
Stop it with the face.
I can't take that face seriously. Oh my
Everyone God. Reacting to this news of Cedar Fair spending money on other parks.
No, you need the you need the opening mouth guy.
Every fanboy at the parks getting coasters over the next 2 years. Oh. By the way, for those of you on here, Amusement Insiders is doing like a cute little kind of like trip together to Cedar Point early May. And I might bring some shirts to give out for anyone that's going to be there. Although I think this is all Canada's Wonderland fans on this stream. But oh wow.
So if anyone watching the stream is there, we'll definitely be handing out stuff.
Yeah. And giving us food is definitely encouraged.
Does that mean you're poor or something? I mean, yeah. Don't buy him a meal. He's just like mobile. Buy me a meal. I'm rich.
One in May. May 11th, 12th, and 13th. We'll be at the park. The hotel's already booked.
You're not paying any rent. Start paying rent.
Mom, no one's talking to you.
His mom wanted to be in the video.
My mom thinks she's a part of a coaster enthusiast group, even though she's GP pretty much.
Does anyone else have any questions about all this? Any of you want to have anything else you want to talk about?
I just want to talk about something for Cedar Point. I think we should also do a live stream rundown, like before, like expectations about Steel Vengeance before we go, and then also after we come back, like what the impressions are.
Oh my God,
that's a really good idea.
That'd be
like
awesome.
I'm gonna give my full park impressions just because I've never been there before. Hate me if you will, those of you watching, but that's the truth.
I booked us a hotel room and paid for it because literally him and Anthony might come too. America have never been a decent. America's been once, but only got on like 4 rides.
Yeah,
but yeah, they have you have to go to Cedar Point. So
I pretty much feel for a fact now Steel Vengeance is going to be my favorite coaster, but what's going to be my second is Millennium Force going to be better than Leviathan? Is Gatekeeper going to like blow me away? Is Raptor going to be amazing? Like, I don't know.
Or is Maverick going to take it all?
Let's not talk about Maverick. Maverick just looks like it would kill me. That launch alone looks so good.
Oh, Maverick is amazing. Like, it hurts so much, but literally you're just like smiling the whole ride, even though you're being abused. It's amazing.
I'm also planning on doing a video of like the merchandise that I pick up, like the nano coasters or whatever, or shirts and other ride stuff.
That's true. All right. I guess it looks like no one has any other comments about this stuff. I mean, there's going to be plenty more videos. I'm heading over into Discord, guys. So again, if any of you aren't in Discord, come to our channel, DM me on Instagram if you need the link. We talk for hours on end in Discord. In fact, we are more active than Coaster Studios Discord. It's like a live chat forum. If you join Discord, just remember to silence Discord so it doesn't bother you. But yeah, we'll be in Discord. Come talk to us. Blah blah blah. There'll be plenty more.
Before we go, someone said, any news about Wonder Mountain's Guardian?
I don't have any news about Wonder Mountain's Guardian. I have seen it testing in some of my drone footage, so I'm assuming it's good to go.
And Vortex powered padded seats.
Yeah, it looks like it's nicely padded. Got new seats.
Maybe that back row ride won't hurt my back.
Right. What do you think Canada's Wonderland will say to the public about the construction during this coming operating season? Great.
Something's
question.
coming.
I think we're going to see a teaser for sure.
There's going to be a construction wall, and they're going to be teasing stuff. Maybe they'll do something like Cedar Point, like post a ride every month or something on it, like leading up to Valraven.
Yeah, actually, that'd be great. Showing all the past coasters, and then, you know, that August announcement, they're like, hey, and by the way, we're getting a B&M blank. And that's for you guys to all wonder and think about throughout this coaster season.
It'd be funny if it's like, well, Canada's Wonderland fan exposed which company is building the ride, but here's some teasers. That would be just great if I saw that.
Oh God, I think we're gonna have a really great teasing campaign. I mean, Dave and Grace and I'm so sorry if I mispronounce her name, but Suya, I think is her name. Those three have been doing a great job in terms of the blogs, marketing, and even just subtle like tweets on Twitter. I mean, we all rush over the minute someone posts something. So just a huge shout out to those three people because they've made this off season, even though we're not even supposed to be talking about stuff like this yet, because we're not supposed to know until April 29th when we walk in and go, oh, a construction wall. But I look forward to any time I see a Dave tweet or a Grace blog or a Grace tweet or retweet and Suya blog or tweet. So those three have made this a lot better.
Right.
For sure. So follow them because you won't regret it.
I feel like little teasers and stuff is just gonna eventually they're gonna post something a little too obvious, and we're just gonna figure it out.
I pray that someone doesn't leak anything because this has biggest construction project written all over it for Cedar Fair so far, other than Steel Vengeance. Steel Vengeance has a similar time frame.
Steel Vengeance, though, we knew exactly what we were getting when Mean Street closed.
Exactly. I hope it doesn't leak. The park deserves to have a great teasing campaign.
Going back to what we said about the construction of Gatekeeper, I just remembered something like Disaster Transport and Space Spiral closed a little bit earlier so that they can take those down.
Yeah, I have my eyes on Timberwolf Falls near the end of this season. I'm going to look for any signs of removal. But again, we don't know. Wonderland isn't in the business to remove rides, remember? So there's nothing that hints at it going.
They don't seem to like doing it, and they didn't seem to take well to removing Skyrider either. Just the fact that the parts are no longer readily available.
Yeah,
and they can't keep stripping down other rides for it. Yeah,
for sure. So I think that's it. We're trying to keep these short too, so people who don't join don't sit here for 3 hours and get bored. So we're gonna wrap this up now. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, guys.
I love that picture so much.
I do too. All right, have a good one, guys.